Hello everyone, this is Marshall Official, and first of all, I would love to say Happy Halloween to everybody out there. And we are now just under 5 days away from this election. Before we begin, I'd love to once again give a call out to the Press Start to Begin podcast, a brand new YouTube channel that makes podcasts for you guys to listen to. They center around making podcasts about video games, and right now they just uploaded a video today, a podcast video on YouTube about the rise of Sonic the Hedgehog. So if you guys are interested, go watch that channel. They're a brand new channel, and their quality is actually quite impressive for a brand new channel, so they really deserve the like and subscribers that they can get. So I'm gonna say right now, some of you guys watching this, go give them some love over there. They really deserve it. Thank you. They support me, and by the way, both of our channels may be working together soon in the near future. So just put that out there. And once again, thank you. Just a quick side note, everyone. 82% of you guys are still unsubscribed from the channel, so if you would please hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. It would really help the channel a lot. I can keep these videos coming, and more importantly, as promised, if we get to 1,000 subscribers before election night, so by the end of November 4th, if we can reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of November 4th, then I can promise you guys to, as fast as possible, get out a very well-made and very detailed, in-depth analysis of the election right after it is made. I will get that video out for you guys as fast as possible, going over the election, who won, how they did it, and what happened in a timeline manner. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers before election night, and I can promise you that video will be made. Thank you very much. Let's get back to the video. Alright, so kicking off this presidential election prediction, we're actually going to be coming over here to a poll I put up yesterday. I was not able to get a video yesterday. I tried, but I was not able to. But you can see here, 85 people you guys responded to this poll I put up about who do you want to win the presidential election, and it came back 96% of you guys voted Donald Trump. Only 4% of you guys voted for Kamala Harris. So thank you guys very much for giving me your voice and letting me know who you guys want to win. And again, I can't thank enough for that. It really does mean a lot. So thank you guys very much for that. Moving on from that, we're going to be, of course, moving into the battleground states. But before the battleground states, we're going to be looking at this right here, the national polling average, where we can see here Donald Trump is on track to actually win the popular vote still, and his margins only continue to grow. He's now up by 0.5% nationally, which means he now is on track to actually win the popular vote. And remember, if Donald Trump wins the popular vote, the election is basically over. Kamala Harris needs to win the popular vote by at least a few percentage points in order to increase our chances of winning the election as a whole. There's a website that actually breaks it down and can show you who has a better chance of winning based off the popular vote. Donald Trump can lose the popular vote by two or three percentage points and still have a good chance of winning the election. But if he wins the popular vote, it's basically over. And right now, he is on track to win the popular vote. So now let's quickly fill in all the states that we know will be going to one side or the other. At least there's a very good chance that they will. Hardly any changes will be happening here. So let's quickly do that right now. Alright everyone, here's all the states filled in that we know are going to be going to one side or the other. For basically, there's basically no chance that this is going to be changing it whatsoever. The only state I already filled in that will be going to one side or the other is New Mexico. The state is getting more competitive. It probably will go to Kamala Harris by probably almost a likely margin, but I predict it probably will go to Kamala Harris by just under a likely margin. So it is a lean state. It's the only lean state I put on the map already. But I felt it was worth it. Other states like that, we know Texas and Florida are going to be going Republican. Donald Trump has actually increased his lead in both these states massively. Florida has become very conservative, very just not competitive whatsoever anymore. There's just no hope for Kamala Harris in this state. Same with Texas. Texas was actually trending more and more towards the left, slowly but surely. Not enough to go to Democratic, but it was moving more towards the left. But Donald Trump's lead has actually increased in this state, and the state has moved more to the right now. So that trend seems to have finally stopped. As for Iowa and Ohio, both of these states used to be Democratic states during the Obama times, but Donald Trump completely turned them around, and they are now likely Republican states. And they are Ohio and both of these states actually could be going towards solid red states in the future, because they are moving very heavily towards the right, and it only continues to get more and more conservative there. As for some other states, I will already fill in Minnesota, Virginia, and New Hampshire as Democratic. But new polls that have actually changed things and turned things around. These states are getting more competitive, and while they probably will go to Kamala Harris in the end, I'll just spoiler alert, they probably still will. They are getting more competitive, and we know Donald Trump could pull a card and flip one of these states. He's one state before by far larger disadvantages. He's one state before he had a much bigger disadvantage in, and he might be able to do that again. But right now, yes, these states will be going Democratic. Just a little spoiler alert. But that's why I did not already fill them, because we are going to be taking a closer look at them as well. So just to start things off, we are going to start off with Nevada over here in the west. Here in Nevada, Donald Trump's lead has only continued to increase. You can see here he's up by 4% according to Atlas's newest poll. And according to the USP average, he leads by almost a full 1% at this point. Nevada, it does hold too few electoral votes to truly be a crucial state. But the fact is that this state has not gone Republican since 2004. We look here in the past elections. So in 2004, it went Republican, but after that, it's been Democratic ever since. But it has been slowly trending towards the right, as you can see here. It was a likely, then it went down to a lean. The state got more competitive, but nevertheless, the state at this point is like on track to flip Republican for the first time since 2004, which is a very important political win for the Republicans. However, it is worth keeping in mind that Nevada probably won't be a state that will change this election because it just is not. It's just barely not enough electoral votes. If it had just one more electoral vote, it would probably change this election. At least it could. But with only 6, it falls just barely short of being a truly major play in this election. But it will be a prize for either side nonetheless, and Donald Trump is on track to winning it. So on our map, we will be putting the state as lean Democratic, or sorry, tilt Republican. Now let's move on to Arizona. All right, here in Arizona, we can see that this state is just not even competitive at this point anymore. Donald Trump has just completely taken over this state and has just run away with it completely. This state will not be in any way going to Kamala Harris. We can see here that according to some of these polls, this one poll by Data Orbital has Trump win by a full 8%. Now that is definitely too much. That is just kind of ridiculous. He will not win the state by 8%. That is just way too much. But Atlas does have the state being won by Donald Trump by a full 4%, which is a possibility. And in the average, he leads by 2.4%. So there's just no way he's going to lose the state of Arizona. It will be going to Donald Trump by a lean margin. And if we point out this, look at Polymarket. According to Polymarket, Donald Trump has a 76% chance of winning the state. That actually is a likely margin. So Arizona could be a likely state. I'm going to put it as lean, but it could very well be a likely state, at least according to Polymarket. So things are really heating up over in Arizona because it's just not competitive anymore. It's really just Donald Trump is just gonna run away with it in this state. But anyways, moving on from that, we're not gonna go to Georgia. In Georgia, the story continues. Donald Trump is just running away with it in this state. This one by Rasmussen reports. This one poll has Trump win by a full 5% in this state, and even left wing polls like CNN still have Trump winning in the state. Even Bloomberg incredibly has Trump winning in the state. Even they have Trump winning by 2%. If Bloomberg has Trump winning by 2%, he's probably winning by like 8%. That was a joke. Don't take me seriously. I'm just saying that even Bloomberg admits Trump is winning in this state. And in the average, he leads by a full 2.6%. So just like Arizona, he is going to take this state by a lean margin. And just look at Polymarket, it's the exact same thing. Donald Trump leads by a full 73% in this state. There's just no way he's going to lose this state. In fact, he is running with it. He leads by a likely margin according to Polymarket. So things are not looking good for commerce across the whole southern part of the country right now. All the states that Joe Biden won and flipped back in 2020 are on track to go back to Donald Trump already. Let's now move on to North Carolina. Here in North Carolina, we have brand new Atlas Intel polls, the best pollsters in the entire world. Don't forget about them. Atlas, they are the best pollsters in the world. They have Trump win by 4% in the state of North Carolina. This is the only battleground state that Donald Trump was able to win in 2020. He lost all the others, but he was able to win North Carolina still. So this is probably the state he has the best chance of winning in terms of the history of the state. So he will not be losing this state. And he also be average, he leads by 1.4%. We only have one poll that has Harris winning the state, and that is, of course, CNN. That is just not even surprising. Even CNN sample is just completely garbage. I mean, look at this. 750 people for CNN. CNN is such a massive pollster, and they're just a massive organization. There's no way you're telling me CNN could not get more than 750 people. How did Atlas get 1,300? Trafalgar get 1,000 people, 1,100 I should say. Fox News even got 872, and somehow CNN only got 750. This poll is just simply wrong. There's just no way. Emerson, a left-wing pollster, even they got more people than CNN did, and they have Trump winning by 2%. So this CNN poll is just completely full of crap, and Donald Trump will easily take the state of North Carolina by a lean margin. Now we're going to look at Polymarket. I'm just going to say right now, Polymarket does have Donald Trump winning the state by a full 70-something% as well. He has a 70% chance of winning the state as well. So that makes the state likely according to Polymarket as well. So there's just no way Donald Trump is going to lose this state. Let's now go to Virginia. I mentioned how Virginia, I usually would just put Virginia as a Democratic state, but recently I've been actually going through it because we can see here, look how much closer it's getting. We had this one poll, which was just completely full of crap back in September, that has Harris winning by a full 11%. That poll is just absolutely full of crap and ridiculous. That makes absolutely no sense. And then Hill and Emerson, which is a left-wing poll, they had also had Harris win by 8%. Both of these polls should really just be completely written off as ridiculous. That is just because there's just no way that is going to happen. She is not going to win the state by that much. Virginia is trending towards the right, and they flipped the whole government. The whole state government flipped Republican in the midterm election. So there's just no way this state's going to be that blue. But look at this newest poll. Washington Post, they have Harris winning by 6%. That's basically half of what this 11% poll said. Rasmussen reports they have the largest sample on here, and they have hair swaying by only 2 percentage points. That means that if this newest poll is correct, Virginia is well within Trump's reach. It's not. He might still lose it, or he probably will still lose it, but he has a chance of winning the state. That's what matters. He has a chance of winning a state that he should not be able to win. So we will be giving the state by a lean margin to Kamala Harris. But that is nowhere near what Kamala Harris wants for this state. She easily would definitely want to win the state by a likely margin, or even maybe a solve, but that's just not going to happen. Virginia is a possibility. She does have a possibility of losing the state of Virginia, and that is horrible news for Kamala Harris. Let's now move on to Minnesota. Minnesota, the exact same thing. We have this poll by Survey USA. I'm not really even that familiar with them. I don't think none of these pollsters on here are really that familiar with me, except for Rasmussen reports. I'm not really sure exactly how trustworthy they are. MinPost actually has a very large sample. So here you go. MinPost, they have a very large sample on here, and they have hair swaying by only 3% in this state. And then we have Rasmussen reports, and the newest poll has hair swaying by only 3 percentage points. That is a horrible percentage point for Kamala Harris, because just remember, her running mate Tim Walz is from this state, Minnesota, and the fact that she's only winning this state by 3 percentage points possibly, and that is well within Trump's reach, is horrible news for her. It just goes to show you that Donald Trump really is on such a good position in this election, and that even states like Minnesota, a state that has not gone red since 1972, and her running mate is from, has a chance of flipping red this time. And in the RCP average, her leads also dropped down below the likely margin. It is now a lean state. It is not likely anymore according to the RCP average. So we will be giving the state to Kamala by a lean margin, not a likely margin. It is not likely anymore. It is now a lean Democratic state. Let's now go to New Hampshire. In New Hampshire, it's the exact same story. We can see here, we had these polls by these people who aren't even really that well known, if known at all, that had hair went by extremely high margin. But now we have new polls coming in from more reliable people like Emerson and Rasmussen. Emerson has hair went in this state by just 3%. Emerson, this left-wing pollster, has hair went by just 3%. This is a left-wing pollster, has hair went by just 3 percentage points. Rasmussen reports has hair went by just 1 percentage point. We do have this one by Saint Anselm, and I do have to give them credit. That is a massive sample. 2,791 people. That is a massive sample. I do like to give them credit. And they do have hair split by a full 5 percentage points. So they are this seems like a very reliable poll. But in the RCP average, it just dropped to just 4.0. So that means the state is no longer likely. It is now a lean Democratic state. And bear in mind, in 2016, Donald Trump almost won this state. It came within just 0.37% from going to Donald Trump. That was major news then, because the whole Northeast is just generally seen as being this insanely Democratic area, but New Hampshire almost broke that, going to Donald Trump in 2016. Now in 2020, it did shift heavily towards the right. It went up Joe Biden by 7.4 percentage points. But if these polls are to be believed, then this state could be extremely competitive this time around. If just 1 percentage point is true, then Donald Trump could easily win this state if things go wrong for Kamala Harris here. As for this, but I do have to point out that this poll seems very reliable. I don't know if they're left wing or right wing, but that is just simply an enormous sample that they got. So I do have to give them some credit with that one. 5% doesn't seem does not seem unrealistic for New Hampshire. But either way, the state is clearly getting more competitive, and it could be a deciding state depending on how things turn out. So we will be giving the state to Kamala Harris, but only by a lean margin, which seems quite shocking. And now we can see how things stand right now. Donald Trump is at 268 electoral votes. That is one electoral vote away from causing a tie. And if it's a tie, he wins anyways. And he's just 2 away from taking the presidency already. This is why Nevada is just barely not enough to take this election for Donald Trump. If it was just one more electoral vote, he would have it with Nevada. But it's just barely not enough. He gotta win one of these 3 states up here, unless he can get a miracle and flip one of these 3 states right here, New Hampshire, Virginia, or Minnesota. But his best chance is to sit right here in these three states right here. He's got to get one of them. But Kamala Harris, but don't get it wrong though. Kamala Harris is in a much worse position. She needs all 3 of them to win this election, and she'll win with just exactly 270. So it's not looking good for her either. But Donald Trump's chances are higher, but he's still got to get one of them. Let's start with Wisconsin. All right, here in Wisconsin, yes, it does appear that Kamala Harris has retaken the polling average lead with 0.2%. But Be careful. Let's break this down a little bit. So down here we can see Donald Trump's up by 2%. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 polls have it as a tie. We have 4 polls here that Donald Trump winning 2, 1, 1, and 1. And we have 1 poll here that has Kamala Harris winning. By Marquette, that's 1%. Makes sense. That's within the polling error. But that's within the margin of error, you know. Although we have a lot of polls here that Donald Trump win by 1 percentage point. So it makes sense that, yes, there probably would be somebody out there who says Harris will win by 1%. So, yes, that is possible. Look at CNN. 6% for Kamala Harris. This is why it flipped. This poll is a complete load of crap. This is Bloomberg levels of ridiculous. Look, how does Bloomberg have it as a tie and CNN says 6% lead for Kamala Harris? I'm sorry, but no, this poll is skewed, it's wrong, it's made up. This poll was made on purpose for the sole purpose of switching the average lead to Kamala Harris. That is what they did this on purpose. This was not an accident. They did this on purpose to switch the lead to Kamala Harris. That's why they did this. This is CNN. I wouldn't even expect them to do this. Bloomberg, absolutely, not CNN. Look at their sample size. You're telling me that in a 5-day period, they could not get a sample size with as big of a company as they are. They could not get a sample larger than 736 people. How? How did Emerson, in a 2-day period, get more people than them? And they have Trump winning as 1 percentage point, and they're a left-leaning poll. Left-leaning poll, more people, far less days, Trump winning. And then here's CNN up here doing this crap. I'm sorry, but no, I don't even. And by the way, if we actually go over here to Wisconsin, Donald Trump does maintain his lead, although it has shrunk because of this. Because of this, his lead massively shrunk. He still maintains his lead, but no, this is ridiculous. This poll will be abandoned and forgotten because it is just completely made up and nonsense. So yes, Wisconsin will be going to Donald Trump still by a lean margin. Get rid of that poll, nothing has changed. Let's now go to Michigan. In Michigan, the same exact thing happened. We have Atlas Intel, best pollsters in the entire world, have it as a tie. Their sample is pretty good. Insider Advantage tends to lean towards the left. They have an 800 sample. Trump is up by 1%. These guys, I don't really know much of these guys. There's no sample here, so it's hard to take this with a grain of salt, but they have Trump winning by 1 percentage point. We have 2 ties right here. The Washington Post, they got a decent sized sample size. They tend to lean towards the left a little bit, but they're pretty reliable. Harris is up by 1%. I approve that. That makes perfect sense. That makes sense because if you have all these polls that have Trump win by 1%, it makes sense that within the margin of error, Harris could also be winning by 1 percentage point. That makes sense. So yeah, I approve that one. Look down here. Look what you have down here. First of all, we have this poll by Emerson, a left-leaning poll service, 1,000 people, Trump winning by 1 percentage point. Look at this. Susquehanna, or how do you say that? 400 people, that's it? Over a 4-day period? Harris 5%? Are you kidding me? Quinnipiac also extremely left. They're an extremely left-leaning poll service. At least their sample is decently good, but Harris is up by 4 percentage point. No, she is not. Michigan is definitely the most competitive out of all the battleground states. It is the closest one, no doubt. It is also the most liberal one, no doubt. But this is ridiculous. She is not winning by anywhere near that amount. So this poll can be gone. And this poll, I'm not going to completely get rid of it because the sample size is decently good, but I will be cutting this in half to 2 percentage points. There you go. This is ridiculous. But if we go down here, look at this. Look what came right before this. A Bloomberg poll, 3% for Harris. No. I'm sorry, but just no. We know Bloomberg is completely made up and just full of crap. They are so biased it doesn't even, they will always put Harris in no matter what. We're getting rid of this one. This is the 2. To get rid of these 2 messed up, made up polls. Harris does not hold the lead at all. It might be a tie, I'm not sure. I'm not going to do the math, but bring this down to 2 and get rid of these 2 fake polls. At that point, there's no doubt that Michigan is probably the one state that has a decent-sized chance of going to Kamala Harris. At least it's going to be the closest one. But I still think it's going to go to Donald Trump by a telltale's margin because those polls just make no sense. Let's end this off now by going to Pennsylvania. Here in Pennsylvania, we can see here, it's quite consistent lead for Donald Trump. We have 4 ties right here. We have a Donald Trump lead right here with Emerson. Again, the left-leaning poll service. Quinnipiac, 2,000 people. 2,186 people. And they have a Trump up by 2 percentage points. They're extremely left wing, so I'm going to give them credit for that one. Fox News, that's a good sample size. Trump is 1%. Inside Advantage, they're left wing. 1% for Trump. Atlas Intel, best pollsters in the entire world. Trump is up by 1 percentage point. Marist, they do have a good sample size, but Marist is notoriously left wing as well. So I will be reducing this to 1 percentage point, not 2. Donald Trump's lead has actually shrunk in the state from, it was actually just a little bit ago. It was up by 0.8. It's shrunk now to around 0.3 because of this poll right here. But we know that Marist is extremely left wing. But 2% is not out of the realm of possibility, but I'm going to put it down to 1 just because of how left wing they are. But their sample size is also very good. But so is Atlas Intel's. Their sample size is way better. And Quintipac's poll is double that, almost double what Marist is. So clearly Donald Trump is the clear favorite to win in Pennsylvania still. So Donald Trump will be take the state of Pennsylvania by a lean margin. Pay attention, because I guarantee the same crap they pulled in Wisconsin and Michigan, they're going to try and pull in Pennsylvania too. Marist just basically almost tried to do that. There's going to be this crazy poll. 5% for Harris. Pennsylvania flips. No, it won't. No, that's not how that works. The state is clearly close, but it clearly has a clear lead, or a clear tilt towards Donald Trump. Don't take any of those left-wing ridiculous polls. It's just not true. But they're going to try that because we're so close to election night now. They're going to try and skew the vote towards Kamala Harris. Or at least they're going to try and skew the polls towards her. But all I can say now to everybody, just get out there and vote. That's all that matters. But clearly, going off the data that makes sense, Donald Trump maintains his lead in Pennsylvania. So with that, this is your election, everybody. Thank you all for coming by, and thank you all for watching this video. Just a reminder, go check out that podcast channel, the Press Start to Begin podcast channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe for this video. Remember, let's get to 1,000 subscribers before election night, people. We'll get that video going, get that review going, that analysis going video. Get that guys. I'll get that out for you guys as fast as possible. Let's do it. 1,000 subscribers before election night. We can do it. Thank you all for getting me this far, and thank you all for coming and watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.